Hi everyone, in this live session we are going to learn the long division in a short trick. So how do we do long divisions in a short way? So let's see. If I have a question like you need to divide 9,216 divided by 72. Now, how would you do the long division way? You should know the times table for 72, or you need to multiply in your roughs and then you need to check out. So it would be very daunting, right? So we are just going to learn the short trick to solve this kind of divisions. Okay, let's see. First of all, you have to listen carefully what we have to do, because this is a totally different kind of way of doing the division trick. So now we just write the dividend. What is our dividend? This is our dividend. This is our divisor. All right. So we are going to write the dividend here. This is the dividend. Let's write down the dividend, 9216. All right. And then this is our divisor. So this divisor, we are going to write it in such a way that this number 7 is a bigger base number 7. And then this 2, we are going to write it as a tiny number upon this number. That's it. All right. So we have changed this number to a number like this. We have a base, we have a tiny number upon that. That's it. And then we have this dividend. So just draw a line here, like how we do in the LCMs. Yes. So now we have drawn a line, and then the most important thing what we have to remember is you need to leave one digit from the right hand side and draw a slash like this. You need to break them apart. Okay, now it's clear. The setting, like how you need to arrange all the numbers, is in this way. Now what are we going to do is I'm going to do a few things on the rough side so that you understand it. Then you can do it in mind. After that, this is just for your explanation, so it will take time. Now, the first step, you are going to check that does 9 come in 7 times table? No. So we take the number which is near or lesser to 9. So we have 7 times 1 is 7. So we're going to write 7 times 1 is 7. And now what do? When we take 9 and then just subtract. 7 times 1 is 7, right? Subtract 7. So 9 minus 7 gives you 2. It leaves a remainder of 2. This 2 goes a carryover to this 2. So we're going to write a tiny 2 here. So it becomes 22. Let me write down 22. Yes, so it became 22. Now what are we going to do? There's one more step. This was the first step. Now the second step is you need to multiply. This is the quotient. You need to multiply the quotient with the tiny number. Now what is the use of this tiny number will come into effect in the second step. So you just need to multiply the quotient with this tiny number. 2 times 1 is 2, and then subtract it from this number. So you get 22 minus 20 is 20. Now you again have to check in the times table. Now you don't have to check 22 in the times table. You have to check 20 in the times table. So does 20 come in 7 times table? So no. So we take a number lesser than that. So 7 times 2 is 14. So I'm going to write 7 times 2 is 14. So I'm going to write 14 and subtract them. 20 minus 14 is 6. Now what do? This 6 goes carry over here to the next number. It becomes 61. Let me write down 1. So it became 61. Now what do? The second step which we always follow, you multiply the quotient, the next quotient which came, quotient with a tiny number. So 2 times 2 is 4, subtract it, minus 4. 61 minus 4 gives you 57. And now we are going to check in the 7 times table, do we get 57? No, we get 7 times 8 is 56. So we have 7 times 8 as 56. Now subtract it. 57 minus 56 gives you 1 as a remainder. Now this 1 goes carry over to 6. Now one more thing. Now it became 16. This went carry over to 6. Now this one, you have now 16 I'm going to write this down. Now you have 16. But the second step which we have to follow is just multiply the next quotient number with your tiny number. 8 times 2 is 16. So you just subtract minus 16 and you are left with a remainder of 0 and your division is completed. That's it. This is your answer, 128. 9,216 divided by 72 gives you 128. Done. All these things with practice you can do it mentally in your mind. Okay, let me show you one more example on this. Now we are going to do it super quickly in our mind. Okay, you just have to remember the second step, that you have to multiply the quotient with the divisor. Okay, let's see a number which is 1,576 divided by 83. All right, so let me take down this number. Okay, so you have 1,576 divided by 83. So what do you think? Is 83 easier for you to divide with this? 83 times 2, 83 times 3. Do you calculate all those things in the rough? No. Now what you need to do, we're just going to solve it the way which I said, and you're going to get the answer in just one line, in just one step, as I showed you. Okay, now let's write down the numbers. How to do the arrangement of numbers, as I showed you before in the previous question. Just write down the dividend. This is your dividend, this is your divisor. The number which is getting divided is called as dividend. The number which is dividing is called as divisor. Now let's write down the dividend first. We write down the dividend: 1, 0, 5, 7, 6, and then just draw a line which I told you, like this. From the right hand side, just break it, make a slash, leaving one digit, just make a slash, right? This is done. Now how do we write the divisor? As I told you, just write the bigger number as a first number as a base, as a bigger number, and 3 as a tiny number. Done. The arrangement of numbers are done. Now what do we have to do? Now let's start. Does one doesn't go, so let us take 2-digit number, 10. Does 10 come in 8 times table? No. So what do? We take the number lesser than that. So 8 times 1 is 8. So let me take 8 times 1 is 8. So how much is 10 minus 8? 10 minus 8 gives you 2. So you're left with 2. Now this 2 goes carry over to this one. It becomes 25. So let me write down 25. Now the main important thing, the second step. This was the first step. What is the second step? What you have to do? You have to multiply this quotient. This is the quotient with your tiny number. So 3 times 1 is 3. Subtract 3. 25 minus 3 gives you 22. Now you have to check if 22 comes in your 8 times table. Does 22 come in your 8 times table? No. So which is a number which is near and lesser to 22? That is 16. 8 times 2 gives you 16. So let me write down 8 times 2 gives 16. Subtract 16. 22 minus 16 leaves 6 as the remainder. Now this 6 goes carry over to 7. Let us write down 67. So you have got 67. Now what's the next step? 67. Now you need to multiply the second step. The quotient has to be multiplied with the tiny number. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract 6. 67 minus 6 gives you 61. Now check this number comes in 8 times table or not. 8 times 7 gives you 56. So we are going to write down 8 times 7 as 56. So 61 minus 56 gives you a remainder of 5. This goes carry over to 6. Now you've got 56. Now the main important point here, what you have to remember, okay, you got 56. Just multiply the next quotient with a tiny number. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract it. 56 minus 21 is, you are left with 35. Yes, so you're left with 35. Now you're going to check 35 comes in 8 times table. But before that, now you have moved on to the slash. Why did we put a slash? What is the use of that? Whenever you're moving on to the slash, after slash, whenever you come after slash, you just need to put a point or a dot. Okay, that's the decimal point. So when that's the use of the slash. So whenever you are coming after slash and you're getting a remainder, if it is 0, then no need to put a point. Now you have a remainder of 35, so you put a decimal point because you've moved on after slash. So you have 127 point. Now check 35 comes in 8 times table. No, so we take a number lesser than that. 8 times 4 is 32. So let me write down 4. So 8 times 4 gives you 32. So 35, I'm going to write that down. 35 minus 32. 8 times 4 is 32. So 35 minus 32 gives you a remainder of 3. Now you have a point. Now you have left 3. 3 goes carry over here, but there's no number here. So let us put a 0, because when there's nothing, we just put a 0 and it becomes 30. So it became 30. Now does 30 goes in? Now the next thing what you have to do, the second step, multiply the quotient with a tiny number. 4 times 3 is 12. Let's subtract 12. 30 minus 12 gives you 18. So you're left with 18. Now you have to check 18 comes in 8 times table. No. So what is a number lesser than that? 8 times 2 is 16. So write down 8 times 2 gives you 16. Subtract it. 18 minus 16 gives you a remainder of 2. Now again this goes carry over, but there's no number, so you put a 0. 20, it became 20. Now what is the second step? You need to multiply the quotient and the tiny number. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract 20 minus 6. Where's my 6? 20 minus 6 gives you a remainder of 14. So you have again 14. Now does 14 go in 8 times table? 8 times 2. So we can take 8 times 1 is 8. Yes. So let me write down. Subtract 8. Again you get a remainder of 6, and it goes on. Is that right? So we have got a number after dividing 127.421. We have got 3 decimal places, and that's enough. Whenever you're dividing, 3 decimal places are enough. So what's 10,576 divided by 83? Just this, 127.421, and you're done. That's your answer. So how amazing it is. But you need a practice for this. You can practice at home, try some of the questions and practice at home. So let me give you a question for you to practice. Suppose if you have a question, 5,312 divided by 94. Come on. I want you all to do this one and write your answers in the comment box. And if you like this session, don't forget to share it with your friends. Do leave a comment in the comment box. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.